Yeah. Okay, so why I'm recording now, by the way. So why are 10 million people playing WoW?
Because there is no better game.
And also, how many other people are playing WoW? Or like, how many people are playing WoW at the same time, or like average, on average? Because
They got almost 200 server clusters, so it depends on which
yeah,
one.
right, and that's worldwide, not just in America, right?
Yeah, Europe,
Oh.
Asia now, and the United States.
Yeah, Chinese would have like just an insane.
They have a special version just for the Chinese.
Yeah, and I bet it's huge as well too. So, um, at least, God, you realize how lucky we are to have a free press. But anyways, so I've told you about this idea for a MMO game, right? Where basically you have a message board that exists at every crossroads. And it's just it springs up, and it doesn't matter what is at that crossroads either. So it could either be in the middle of the forest, or it could be in the you're smack dab in the middle of a high-rise, city, and just every crossroads, at every four corners, there is a message board. Now, realize on top of that, the whole world, the whole game world, is transformable by you. You have to dedicate either yourself or an NPC to that task. So I guess it's it's kind of like Second Life in a way, in that you're going to have a life going on with your player, your avatar. It's like it's going to be born. He's going to grow old. He will learn things. He will he may even regress in things as well. So this is this is the idea of the skills. Skills is like the big part of this game. You increase your skills in whatever you want. There's no limit to what you want, and it's either represented by a physical thing, or it's represented by just it exists there. The skill exists. So basically, you can add flash to things, but that's kind of like added in later. It's like what people want it to look like.
Yeah.
Otherwise, whatever skill is going on, it's very bare bones, playing to begin with MMO. The other idea is that you have a reward system where you encourage people. If you create some content, like say you develop a graphic or an idea, for a motion, or you come up with a design for an item, or you come up with a design for a building, or you come up with a design for a wagon, even, or some design for whatever, or you can come up with some music, or you can come up with artwork, right? So you create like a Second Life environment, but now you can die, you can kill other people. And also money has value, or money has space. Money occupies space. You can only carry so much money, and then you can't carry anymore. And even to the point you have to actually have a sack as well. So you can empty the sack, your coin purse, and it'll still exist there, kind of thing, But you'd want as many coin purses as you could carry, in some sense, But and it's just the idea, to keep it a bit more realistic. And so now you have no level caps. There's no limit to what you can do, in a sense. And there's no levels. There's 100 hit points. That's it. And once you reach 0 hit points, you are knocked unconscious. Now, while you're unconscious, whoever comes across your unconscious body in whatever time frame, it could be either a short time or a long time, they have the option to kill you. The permadeath your character. So you can be in battle, and somebody could say, buddy, I'm sorry you have to do this, but you're the leader. You're a leader. You're a leadership position, so I kind of need to kill you. Or I could take you, captive, but your men are still going to fight because of that, or because of this or that. And the other thing is that your player can have the NPCs will have a somewhat realistic life going on, or somewhat realistic behavior. They're going to move about. They're going to engage in certain things, and you have to kind of engage in things too. So eating food is it's required, and it doesn't matter what, food is just this, this thing that exists, and you can design it any way you want. But regardless of what it is, food is food. It's up to the players to decide. Well, let's make stuff that looks like cake, and let's make stuff that looks like filet mignon or whatever. So that's player content. That hey, guess what, players, you can add this.
Yeah.
The staff of this game, their whole purpose is to make sure the game runs well and that kind of implement new ideas. The way you attract players is you have a test server that anybody can download and join in. So basically, they're playing the game now as is. The problem is that the game resets because it's a test server. So you can develop something and you're going to lose it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you don't lose everything per se because experience is important. Experience is the bread and butter of the game. The more experience you get, you convert experience into skills. So basically, experience is the counter that's always running up. With whatever action you do, or if you're in charge of something, then you're gaining experience then. But you have to be online. So this is the other thing. You can leave your avatar online or take it offline, and you can switch between your avatar and a free floating eye to observe action. Also, you can't clip other NPCs. So, so you physically bump into something, right? So you can have battle lines, and that's something that I've been kind of thinking about and wondering. I'm thinking of the way Lord of the Rings approached it is morale. You lose morale basically, and that it's through hitting hit points and stuff like that. But it's treated like hit points, but because it's treated like morale, when you're in a group, you can actually take more damage, but you're still taking damage. And what it is that the guy in charge, he is providing a bonus. He's providing a buff, that they call it, to your stats or to your defenses. So, imagine I could have a sword and I could develop the skill that, I can strike you with my sword, and I can outmaneuver your shield, and I can also outmaneuver your sword, and I can make a very striking blow into your person, kind of thing. And because the reason why is that the player defending would, he probably has a shield and a sword or whatever other weapon, you can specify, with a skill. And basically, he built up the skills in those areas. But now, if my skill is counter to yours and it has more of this, and it's like this crazy numbers game, basically. But so in a sense, that's what it is. If you're a numbers cruncher, you can get crazy insane with the game. If you're not, you can create a program that basically says, I want to develop a warrior. I don't want to worry about choosing skill points. I just want it to happen on its own. Somebody can create like a macro or automatic macro that, for all experience points you get, it automatically feeds it into the skills that you desire. You also have the option that you can choose, which skills you want your experience points to go into. The skill tree is massive and immense, and you can select buttons to appear on the screen. Otherwise, when you select the skill tree, it just, it's a holographic, over your views. So, what do you think, right? You following me?
I'm following you. I think it's good. I don't know if relying completely on user content is a good idea, because I see a bunch of people submitting wildly different styles of things.
Yeah.
And just having a huge clashing, like, MS Paint world.
Ultimately, the people are going to spread apart, and they're going to form their own groups. The other thing is that this whole game is based around guilds, around groups of players together. And the thing is, so because of that, you're going to have various levels of chat going on.
So my group and John's group want to go pick on your group.
Yeah.
And then the stuff that you created gets destroyed because the stuff I created
Yeah.
is, I agree with John. There's some kind of problem. There's going to be some problem with letting the users have that much control.
So this is what I do. I complain to a different group that essentially they could be in charge of the land. They could be ruling the land that you're on. And they could say, hey, we don't like this behavior, and they'll come down on you, and they say, look, if you want to continue to exist here, you have to obey by these rules, kind of thing. Or like they can actually pass judgment. And if you say, like, what would be the response, the jackass response, right? It was like, F you, man, I'm going to do whatever the hell we want. And these guys decide to go, like,